We all know Halo 2's tumultuous development cycle. If you don't, I'll give you a quick refresher. When it released in 2004, at least 1/3 to half of the content was cut, and the final product only reflected about a year and a half of development time. Pretty much the entirety of the Halo 3 campaign was originally planned to be in the Halo 2 story. Not just that, notoriously the higher difficulties of Halo 2 are the most unbalanced in franchise history as far as I'm aware. These issues are only exacerbated on PC and MCC. Enemies kill you faster, weapons shoot faster, the timing is just wrong compared to the original Xbox, and all that goes into making the current iteration of H2A on MCC pretty far removed from the experience Halo 2 was meant to be. This mod goes on to address all those issues as much as it can, and is the first Halo 2 Anniversary mod on MCC I've played. That being said, I can tell you it's probably going to remain one of the best. I'm talking about Ruby's rebalanced Halo 2 Anniversary campaign, specifically version 3.0. I was about to upload a review for 2.0 on Project Cartographer, and this is definitely a major upgrade. Almost all the new updates work flawlessly in Anniversary mode. There's only one issue that I noticed during my playthrough, but I'll get to that later. The first thing I noticed loading up Cairo Station was the addition of the health bar similar to Halo 1 or Reach on top of the original overshield. This is very useful in enhancing gameplay by giving you the opportunity to take more risks with better success. It was severely lacking in vanilla Halo 2, especially on Legendary. The second thing was the weapons. My goodness, do they all feel so much better and more viable. Ruby's goal was to make each dual-wieldable gun more useful on their own. He definitely succeeded. The reserve ammo of every weapon has been massively increased from SMG, shotgun, pistol, needler, and more. The battle rifle is more in line with the OG Xbox's VR. The pistol, even on higher difficulties, is able to take down elites in just a few headshots. Also, dual-wielding elites have successfully returned as they should have on MCC. Changes have been done to the AI and enemy variety, which makes the game a more seamless experience and impacts the entire campaign. When the two dual-wielding elites come from above during the first combat section of the game, you see two jetpack elites, which makes more sense since they arrived separate from the rest of the enemies. You fight alongside ODSTs once you meet up with Johnson and Miranda. If you are familiar with the deleted scenes of Halo 2, you know that at the Zanzibar Hotel, 2nd Squad was shot down and those ODSTs had to fight their way into the hotel in a scenario similar to what would become Halo 3 ODST. Something I thought was super cool is how, at least in classic graphics, you find that squad as it was presented in the deleted scenes with those weapons, and this isn't even the last time you see this ODST sergeant. Unfortunately, as I mentioned at the beginning of the review, in Anniversary graphics, they are wearing the award ceremony attire. This probably has something to do with how each engine handles models, but it isn't a big deal. It's the only issue from the mod I noticed throughout my playthrough. The Warthog handles much nicer, able to take sharper turns, and the whole vehicle damage model has been changed. Vehicles don't explode based on their health unless your shields are all the way down. Sometimes things play out like mini boss fights as well. Right before the end of Outskirts, there are 2 hunters you have to fight your way through before you can pass the mission. It's not the only one. And the Gauss turret works like they do in later Halo titles. The bridge sequence has been overhauled, featuring high-ranking grunts driving ghosts and a hell of a lot more of them. It truly seems like a full-scale battle which follows through the rest of this mission, including the final Wraith fight just before taking on the Scarab. The additional health bar during the Arbiter's missions really came into its own. It definitely helps manage the close quarters combat that ensues, and the Needler definitely helped out in this mission. Having much more competent friendly AI is nice. On higher difficulties, I found it nearly impossible to keep my grunts alive. But here, they ended up being pretty helpful, surviving all the way through each mission they're on for the most part. Like I mentioned on the end of Outskirts, in the end of the Oracle, instead of fighting a few grunts, you fight a heretic elite with a beam rifle and fuel rod gun before the end of the mission. You'll notice more Flood elite forms with overshields, similar to Halo 3. While fighting them down that huge elevator shaft, I noticed how much more I enjoyed the changes in Ruby's rebalanced Halo 2 over Ruby's rebalanced CEA. That being said, there was a lot less wrong with Halo 1 when it shipped compared to Halo 2, so of course I'd noticed the changes here much more. They just stand out as very prominent in this mod because of the chaos that was Halo 2's original release. So no knocking rebalanced CEA, just figured I'd mention something I thought mid-mission. Halo 2 decided to eliminate fall damage from any height as long as it's not out of bounds. So this mod tries to address that by keeping the fall stun from Halo CE, so at least you have a small penalty for falling. Going back to having boss fights throughout the campaign, the heretic leader actually poses a serious threat, taking substantially more damage than he did in the original game, making you finish the level feeling like you actually accomplished the goal of taking down a prominent, powerful enemy leader instead of just another elite. I feel this mod goes a long way to making the Arbiter's portion of the campaign much better. It seems much more equal to the Master Chief's storyline. Similar to what happened at the Zanzibar Hotel on Outskirts, a few ODSTs on the mission Delta Halo are actually wearing their reward ceremony attire and anniversary graphics. Like in Halo 1, the rocket holds 8 rounds in reserve and the shotgun was 60. I noticed myself using the SMG more throughout this mod. Halo 1's assault rifle is basically an SMG, so having those attributes really brings the effectiveness of this weapon much higher. As I mentioned, the vehicles have some adjustments. The tank has its turret, speed, and machine gun effectiveness exponentially increased. I actually use the Scorpion now. I found it way too slow in the original. It's pretty cool seeing squads of jackals that actually pose a real threat here too, with the needlers and plasma rifles. Snipers actually do damage to vehicles as well. I forgot to mention that on Metropolis. When we get to Regret, I really started to notice the reduction of jackal snipers. Most of them have carbines, which does help mitigate their irritation for sure, but I think other adjustments in the mod address that even further. Having ODSTs in addition to more Marines feels nice to fight alongside. It makes more sense to have them as well. You wouldn't send in your best assets to take down an enemy leader without a little backup. Sadly, my ODSTs didn't make it very far, and I ended up facing Regret with a couple of normal Marines. Regret's boss fight has been totally redone. It seems much more challenging than I ever remember, and it will even give the best of players a major fight. Sacred Icon. I'm not sure what this level's reputation is amongst the community, but I really like it. It has such a nice creepy atmosphere. You even get to see Marines fighting the Flood as an elite, which is super badass in my opinion. The carbine has been overhauled, holding many more rounds than originally shipped, which is very useful on this level, helping you take down the Sentinel Enforcers. Something I absolutely did not expect though is that you'd be fighting against squads of Marines throughout this level, putting up some serious resistance. Much more elites also joined the final firefight of the mission with Shipmaster. Quarantine Zone. This mission focuses on you racing a group of humans to the Icon, but you never see any humans other than a few pelicans throughout. I always thought that was weird, but during the first half of this level I noticed more and more Marine squads. More Marines driving the vehicles and defending the entrance to the gondola as they should have in the vanilla game. It really adds a new dynamic to these missions. I already mentioned a lot about this mod bringing Arbiter's half of the game more up to par with Chiefs, and this definitely seals the deal in my opinion. Truly an awesome mission made exponentially better. I always wondered why you never fought the humans. Everything continues as normal other than having way more elites, which as I said on the mission Regret, you send your best warriors to do something, you better give them sufficient backup. I just wanted to leave this cutscene in here to emphasize how awesome Halo 2 is, if you didn't already know.
Gotcha.
You know, your father never asked me for help either.
The index is secure.
Mackenzie, Perez, how's our exit? You hear me, Marines? We got trouble. How you doing?
Sergeant, stay down! Johnson, you all right? Johnson!
Excellent work, Arbiter. The Hierarchs will be pleased. The Icon is my responsibility. Was your responsibility. Now it is mine. A bloody fate awaits you and the rest of your incompetent race. And I, Tartarus, chieftain of the brutes, will send you to it. And the prophets learn of this, that they will take your head when they learn. fool. They ordered me to do it.
I really like the Needler on Gravemind. It's a nice weapon to start out with, and having the more Halo 3 Needler feel but better really stands out. Going down to save those Marines, I thought I could stealth my way through like the vanilla game. To my surprise, a captain with a brute shot started lighting me up. In the first groups of soldiers, I noticed another ceremony Marine. I wonder how many of them got out without changing. There are many more squads of brutes and elites fighting throughout, it feeling much more like an actual civil war going on in High Charity, adding to the chaos while increasing the challenge level, especially on those much larger outdoor areas, and fighting to the mausoleum of the Arbiters. The actual fight was pretty tough, but nothing like fighting Regret. Uprising. This isn't the first level with the brute shot, but you really come to appreciate it here. 24 grenades in reserve, seemingly more damage and increased blast radius, you're able to take down a squad of 4 brutes with a single magazine. Weirdly enough though, there are friendly jackals and grunts and enemy jackals and grunts fighting alongside the brutes, sorta similar to Halo 3. Some have shotguns much earlier on as well, like the ending of Outskirts, just before and at the last segment of Uprising, there are many hunter battles. Kind of a theme throughout this mod is emphasizing how Halo 2 had boss fights, unlike the other games for the most part. Gravemind continues pretty much as normal, but the variations to AI and Flood keep it feeling fresh. Not really too much to say on this one. Good level, more enjoyable with additions done to the sandbox. Now on to the next one. This is what the Covenant have been all about, even onward into Halo 3. The great journey. To protect Tartarus from the Arbiter, you face much stiffer resistance while fighting your way to the Scarab. Banshees with brute captains, more wraiths and ghosts. As with Metropolis, it really feels like a major battle at play. Once you reach the first interior section, you have an elite High Council member with the Hunters, much like the ones that you release from the cells later on in the mission. What's dope is that you actually get to see Hunters versus Hunters pretty early on, similar to Uprising. It seems like a genuine civil war. Once you get to where Johnson boards the Scarab and you hop in the Banshee, you really take into account how much faster Wraiths are able to throw mortars in your direction. Also, the Wraith that's usually flipped right before Johnson knocks on the door seems to have been fixed, so it's much more threatening than the normal unarmed brute standing on top of a flipped Wraith you'd normally see. Supporting them, you have brute-piloted ghosts and many more enemies to fend off, but it's a little bit easier since you have elites and banshees to back you up throughout the fight. Once you reach the finale of Halo 2, you really start to appreciate all the changes made in this mod. Seeing elites and humans fight alongside each other to kill Tartarus and stop him from activating the rings is something to experience for Halo fans. More so than just having Miranda and Johnson. With all the additional backup, I was able to take down that brute quick. To conclude, I feel this goes as far as possible to perfect Halo 2. The additions to the story, sandbox, and experience are truly incredible. It doesn't matter what difficulty you play on, this is the definitive version of Halo 2 in my opinion. Combined with the anniversary graphics, this is a great way to relive and celebrate such a genuine classic. I give this mod a 9.3 out of 10, the highest rating I've ever given a mod, and I recommend it to any and everyone who is a Halo fan. I'll leave a link down below to Ruby's channel as well as the mod. Thank you for watching. Sorry it took me so long between reviews. I'll try to keep uploading on a more timely manner. I truly appreciate all of the subscribers, new and old. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe. Look forward to new content coming up. Stay happy, stay healthy, and have a good one.